So instead of doing cognitive behavioral therapy, they were like, to keep those demons away, don't take meds. Just give them a fudge bar and a weeks-long stay with Gordon Ramsay, okay? So during another hospitalization, I was scared, so I screamed. They called 4 huge guards to restrain me. If you want to help someone through an anxiety attack, the last thing they need is to be tackled by 4 failed Dallas Cowboy linebackers. I also have paranoia and I think everyone's out to get me. Once this lady started talking to me, so I screamed, "Get away, you blood-sucking hellhound!" And she's like, "There are other people in line. Can you please just pay for your big gulp?" I have an issue with germs, so I use Germ-X for everything. But it makes a horrible mouthwash. So next time I'll just stick with bleach. But I'm trying to better my life. So at one point I went to a career fair, and there was this guy who had a doctorate, and he just talked for hours. All I learned is that sitting on a wooden bench really hurts my ass. So I'm on a lot of different meds, and there are side effects. Some of the meds make me feel like I'm gonna throw up, but that's just when I see how much they cost. But Medicaid should encourage you to self-medicate. Let's face it, a box of cupcakes costs a lot less than a bottle of gabapentin. And the side effects are similar. Weight gain, dry mouth, and wishing you hadn't taken them. Over the years, some mental health professionals didn't think I could make it, but here I am doing stand-up comedy, which is the hardest thing in the world. Thank you. And remember, just take life one step at a time. Thanks for listening. That's my time. Good night.
And I forgot to mention, so I started working with these folks 6 weeks ago. They knew absolutely nothing about comedy. And watching Mary, look how far she's come. Look how far all of them have come. Your next comic, please welcome Lone Star.
After 20 years in the mental health system, I should have something approximating a sure diagnosis to pull out of the closet for an occasion like this. I guess, though, that tonight I'm taking myself out of the closet. I'm coming out! Although there's no parade for me. However, the last time I landed in a psych hospital, they did give me a t-shirt that said Looney Tunes. But they gave me that t-shirt to wear to my competency hearing. Nothing says you're more sane than walking into court with a Tasmanian devil and Daffy Duck on your chest. It's been suggested that my condition is genetic in origin. Now that makes sense. My parents are a wee bit cray-cray, but it's hard to spot because they are Republicans. But there are signs. One day, for example, my mom and dad got together for dinner with a dear friend of theirs. Cindy, we'll call her, is very liberal, from Wisconsin, Adjusting to Texas is a challenge. She cried during dinner about our politics and the closing of Planned Parenthood. My dad, a gallant Southerner, offered her a free breast exam on the spot. When I got out of the psych hospital, I worked for the state of Texas trying to improve people's lives. Now that was crazy. It actually made the Austin State Hospital look great. After all, Ash is the cheapest rent in Hyde Park. In the state of Texas, if you're sexually harassed, you complain to the Texas Workforce Commission. But I was sexually harassed by my boss at the Texas Workforce Commission. Maybe I should have seen the harassment coming. Even though we were on the 7th floor next to HR, he talked about the furniture in his S&M dungeon. It sounded a lot like the equipment at my last Pilates class. I worked at the health department next. My duties included writing strategies for obesity prevention for Texans. Everyone in the department was incredibly fit. The rest of the staff competed in the Ironman. But I did win a hot dog eating contest. 23 dogs in one sitting. My pee smelled like mustard for days. Most of the all-female staff was obsessed with pumping breast milk. Truly, the office was like a dairy farm. They actually pumped while conducting conference calls. But that had to stop once we switched to Skype. That job didn't last long. I think it was really over for me the day I brought in Long John Silver's. The fried food smell permeated the dietitian's offices. One person actually went home with the excuse of chemical sensitivities. So I quit my job. I had to find a way to make my condition, hearing voices, work for me. How to make my voices work for me? Well, now I read fortunes at corporate parties across Austin. Same voices, different pay rates. And the great thing is that now I make the voices talk about other people rather than me. Women ask me about their love lives. And men ask me for predictions about their erectile dysfunction and hair loss. Often my psychic abilities are pretty useless. I mysteriously glean what kind of toiletries people use and which brand of condiment they prefer. I see a container of moldy Grey Poupon in a white cold cabinet made by Maytag. But my job is a great way to deal with my hallucinations. I dedicate a couple hours a week to them, and then they don't bother me during my free time. Psychotic? Psychic. You decide. Thank you very much.
Yes, Lisa. And let's keep the show going. Please welcome Jordan Huerta.
Thank you, thank you. I'm no Elvis, but thank you very much. So, my boyfriend thinks I have a slight case of schizophrenia. But I just remembered, I don't have a boyfriend. Why applause? Who here stalks Instagram when they're hungry? I mean, people should really stop posting pictures of their food that they get on Instagram because it makes them contemplate important issues, you know, like sustainability, obesity, where the jam goes on top of the peanut butter or under it. Don't you love this Texas weather? I don't see the enthusiasm in the room. But you know, I love it because it's just like me. It's bipolar. I mean, it gets hot to cold so quick, kind of like a woman in menopause. All it needs is a mustache, and it would be perfect. Am I right? Speaking of women, my mom took me to see the psychiatrist the other day. And according to him, I'm still having auditory hallucinations. But that can't be right. I need a second opinion. Hold on. Yep, that's right. But that's not the worst thing that can happen at a doctor's office. One time, my doctor told me my nervous system was too reckless.